Hey guys, Pastor Luke here. Glad to have you all here tonight at service. This is awesome, man. Continuing what we've been doing, meeting here on Facebook or YouTube. So if you're on Facebook and prefer YouTube, head on over to United Student Ministries YouTube channel. If you're having trouble with YouTube, head over to our Facebook page. Again, United Student Ministries. And so super glad to have all of you here tonight. This is going to be another great week. We're continuing our series, The Greatest, where we have been talking about God's love. The greatest love ever known is God's love. And so this is week 3 of that, and we're continuing that. So tonight after service at 7 o'clock, so this is starting at 6, so an hour later at 7 o'clock, we will be doing our small groups. So if you haven't gotten the small groups link, let me know. We'll get that to you. Love to have you there. Also, we still are doing our daily devotions. So last week we read every day. We read a chapter of the book of James, and now we're taking a deep dive into the book of James. And so it's great, man. It's such a good book. It's so easy to read. And right now we're just reading a few verses and then getting into that. And we're going to do that for the next little bit. So go over to genuchurch.com, go to the Students tab, and grab the daily devotions. Also, Zoom Hangouts, Sunday nights. Don't miss those. Love to have you there. Okay, man? All right. So, tonight we're going to continue. Going to keep moving on here. Tonight, our scripture we're going to be using is found in John 15. So the book of John, chapter 15, and we're going to be reading verses 12 through 17. So this is what it says, okay? It says, "This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, that someone lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends if you do what I command you. No longer do I call you servants, for the servant does not know what his master is doing. But I've called you friends, for all that I have heard from my Father I have made known to you. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you that you should go and bear fruit, and that your fruit should abide, so that whatever you ask the Father in my name, he may give it to you. These things I command you, so that you will love one another." So in this thing, he's saying a lot of things, actually. He says, here's your commandment. Love one another as I've loved you. That's the commandment. And then he tells us what actual great love is, which is sacrifice, laying down your life. Then he says he's called us friends, that we're not servants. And then why we know we're not servants. And then he goes on and says, "Look, I chose you." He chose us. We've talked about this a lot, about God, how God chooses us first. That's why we reciprocate that love, is because he chose us first. And so there's a lot kind of going on here, but man, the thing I want us to hold on to today, and what the part of this that I think is the most important, that for us tonight is going to be our most important part of this verse, is that he says, "You are my friends." You are my friends. Part of God's love is how he loves us like a friend. Let's think about like friends, right? Like our friendships. So like usually friendships start off, you meet someone, you probably have similar interests as them, and then as you get to know each other, you start to include the other person in your life a little bit more. And usually that's really when like friendship really starts, because when you start to include people in your life a little bit more, and you start to share a little bit about yourself and open up a little bit more, that is when trust, I think, is given. And to me, that's really the beginning of friendships, is trust. It's mutual trust. In verse 15, one thing it says, "I no longer call you servants, for the servant does not know what the master is doing. But I've called you friends, for all that I've heard from my Father I've made known to you." So you remember, Jesus is talking to his disciples here. His disciple, this is before he was crucified, but he's told them, he's let them know, even if whether or not they get it. The disciples are kind of a kooky bunch sometimes, because they didn't always know what Jesus was saying, but Jesus was like, "Hey, I've let you know. I'm not hiding anything from you. I am giving you all the things of God. This is it. I'm giving it all for you. I'm giving it all to you." for remember, this is written in a different time where there are servants and slaves and things like that, and the servant didn't know always know what a master was doing, and it's not a servant's business what their master is doing or what they're talking about or what business they have. But when it comes to friends, we open up to each other. We trust one another. And Jesus is like, I trust you. Because it's not just the other way around. We trust God. Yeah, we trust God, but Jesus trusts us. And so he's like, look, I'm your friend. We're starting off with trust here. And so, in the kind of the original ideas when it comes to man and God's relationship is that the man is to serve the God. We are the servants of the gods, and Jesus just completely turns that on its head. It's not about you just the service to me. Yeah, are we in service? Yeah, absolutely. But what does God say? He says, "You are my friends if you do what I command you." And what does He command? To love each other. That's His command. It's not any of this other stuff. He literally tells us, verse 12. Here's your commandment: love each other. Now we may really try to. I think a lot of people in the church and in the kind of just the Christian world try to find all these other little things to make sure that we're following, and if we're not following those commands, then we're not, and we try to make it broader than it is. No, it is as simple as this, from the words of Jesus: love each other as I have loved you. When you do that, we are friends. When you do that, we are friends. Now, Jesus is always trying to be friends with us, and that's what leads into that trust. Like he already loves us. That's already been given. That part of the friendship has already been given. The trust, it's already been given. By the way, to us, and we haven't deserved it. We haven't always earned it. Think about the people of Israel. Think about the Israelites. They're always messing up. There's books and books and books written about how much they mess up. Yet God is constantly giving us chance after chance. And He says, "Look, you're my friend. I trust you. I'm beginning this. Now love me in return. Love me in return. And that same love that you've received from me, now give it to others." And then he tells us that there's no greater love. There's no greater love than someone laying down his life for his friends. I don't know. I don't think that I'm ever going to have the opportunity to have to choose life for someone. I don't think so. As far as like giving up my own life, I could. I can't say for sure. There have been plenty of people. There have been a lot of people who have, and Jesus is one of those. And Jesus' death obviously has some additional symbolism within it, and additional importance within it. His death is the ultimate death that we needed because He conquers death, right? And He says before He even conquered it, before the resurrection happens, He has to die first, right? And so He's like, I will sacrifice my life for you. I will sacrifice my life for you. And just so you understand, there's nothing more you can do. That's the essence of what we have. All of our other stuff, our clothes, our money, our things, those can all be replaced. Your life can't be replaced. So to give something that can't be replaced, that is the ultimate thing you can do for someone. And Jesus does that for us. And so, we're in a time where I'm sure that things can feel really lonely and things can feel really uncertain and whatever. But what we have is we have a God that calls us friend. We don't serve a God that's like, what sacrifice did you do for me? Like, what, we're not trying to appease the God. No, God's trying to love us and comfort us through our suffering. Suffering's a big word, and sometimes we associate it with things that are really, really big and really, really tough. Like, you suffer when you lose a loved one. Yeah, absolutely. You also suffer in ways that may not be very obvious. When your life is changed a lot. Our lives are changed a lot. And there's some things we're going to have to be really sad about. There are people who have, lost jobs. You may know them. You may be related to them. And so those things, they're not just sad. You have to mourn what's no longer there. And so what we have with our God is we have a God who suffers with us. It's a hard thing to grasp. It's a hard thing for me to grasp at times. But Jesus says, look, I've already sacrificed for you. I have suffered for you. I will be there for you no matter what. I am always there for you. I chose you. He says it. I chose you. He chooses us. He chooses a relationship with us from the beginning of time, from the beginning of man being on this planet. God has constantly sought a relationship with us, and a mutual trusting relationship, a relationship where love is shared and then shared with others. And that's part of the greatest love that we'll ever know, God's love. Look, I love y'all. Y'all are awesome. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope this has been good for you. I hope it enriches you and it informs you on how much God loves you. And I hope you can grow from this. Hey, that's what we're going to be doing, man. We're going to grow from this time. This isn't an easy time. It's a wild time in a lot of ways. But look, I love you. I'm here for you. Let us know how we can help you, man. Always reach out to us. Send us a message. Shoot us a text. Let your leader know, man. We love you. Sounds like I got kids on their way in here. So I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.